About 80% of search users no longer click but rely on AI summaries 40% of the time.
Yeah, this makes me sad. Stealing your info, you're stealing all your content for the LLMs.
Theft.
And
literally theft, yep.
From the finance guys, it'd be like, ask ChatGPT, what stock should I invest in? I'm like, don't do that. That's like one of the worst questions you can ask. And then they would just like take its results as gospel. And you're like, oh my God. So people don't like understand what these are for.
Hello, how the tech are you? My name is Sylph. I'm a software engineer, and I used to work at Google. So this next story kind of is up my wheelhouse. Is that how you say it? About 80% of search users no longer click but rely on AI summaries 40% of the time. That was a little confusing, so let me reiterate. 80% of search users 40% of the time do not click any results. They just read AI summaries. Search engines often now show information from websites in an AI-generated summary at the top of the results. And with the amount of people now solely using this AI-generated summary instead of bothering to go to the source of the information, organic web traffic has now dropped by 15 to 25%, according to this research. But don't worry. Your ads are now being served to an LLM, which can't make purchasing decisions and will never make you back the money you spent on hosting costs. Lovely. Compounding this problem is that LLMs are now fulfilling the role that search engines have traditionally been used for, like answering queries and looking up product information. So, what do you think, Matt?
Yeah, this makes me sad. But also, it's in your wheelhouse, not up your wheelhouse, I think. Pretty sure.
In my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah, I don't want anything up my wheelhouse.
Yeah, I don't think you want to. I was thinking about like the last few times I searched, and I actually have been using the AI results.
Right.
Much more than I thought it was, but I tried like... it's for stuff that's I can be pretty sure that the AI results would be correct, or I could easily verify the result is right or something, because it's too likely to be wrong. It has a tendency to make stuff up. But yeah, and then you didn't mention that well, I don't know about Gemini, but a lot of these LLMs, the companies that are doing it and scraping the web, are not their scraper is not paying attention to the robots.txt, and this has become like a huge problem. So they're stealing your info, you're stealing all your content for the LLMs,
theft.
And
literally theft. Yep.
Yeah, and not being good net citizens.
Yeah.
Anymore.
And then there was that quote by Sam Altman, right? Didn't he say something along the lines of, well, OpenAI wouldn't be possible if we couldn't, use copyrighted material. It's like, okay, so you're admitting then that instead of a regular business, you are running a crime syndicate.
Pretty much.
Like you're just a criminal enterprise then. You're saying that your business doesn't work if you can't commit crimes. Okay, you're a crime enterprise then, a criminal enterprise.
And it kind of drives me crazy. I don't know if you've seen this much. It's kind of died down recently, but there's like people who use these LLMs to ask it questions, not exactly stuff that you would do like a search engine search for or something like that, but it'll be stuff like I see it on the internet or on YouTube all the time, where from the finance guys, it'll be like, ask ChatGPT, what stock should I invest in? I'm like, don't do that. That's like one of the worst questions you can ask. And then they would just like take its results as gospel, and you're like, oh my God. So people don't like understand what these are for.
I mean, honestly, if someone's going to do that, like, go ahead. Like, I want you to reap what you sow then.
Yeah. But I mean, that's not the only thing, but it's just the probably the funniest example of just inappropriately using these LLMs for stuff. I don't know if you've seen that, but it was driving me crazy for a while. But I think, for one thing, I think it's not as popular now on YouTube because so many people have already done videos like that. It's just not interesting to people anymore. And partly like enough people understand that that's not an appropriate thing to ask, you know?
Yeah. One thing that's kind of hard to get across to these people that trust the AI so much is that the AI has been fed a lot of just the way that humans speak. It's trying to emulate that. That's its training data. It's fed a lot of like just how people talk. And the way people talk in general, if you're not talking about like an expert, if you're talking about just a layperson, the way people talk is they're usually very overconfident. I know certainly we do it on this show, probably more than we should. But you know, that's just kind of the way people talk. People are very confident about things. So an AI has a tendency, like these LLMs, have a tendency to be overconfident about things. Could be one of the reasons that they have this problem with hallucinations, where they're just like, oh yeah, I'm sure this exists. I'm sure this is true. I'm sure what I just said is true. Absolutely, 100%. It's like, why are you so confident about that? Well, you know, everyone's confident, so I might as well be too.
It reminds me of another thing. A friend of mine was talking to. He does like a lot of like ancestry type stuff, you know, like looking up, ancestors and stuff. And apparently the big thing is now using different, I think it's like ChatGPT, but maybe a special version of or something to look up some of this stuff, which again, like sounds like a really stupid use case because it would just like make up ancestors. I don't know. Yep. Like that's what you'd expect. But apparently what they're really doing is they're using it to find like research. So it's like the research assistant, whatever it's called, you know, version of the ChatGPT. They'll actually go out and basically search the web and search other archives for stuff, and it returns that stuff linked to that stuff, so they can actually then go in and actually see the documents and not actually use the results. So that's definitely a better way of using it, even though it doesn't sound right.
Well, one of the very interesting side effects of these hallucinations that I've seen is, you know, for a couple times now, I've like gone into ChatGPT and asked it to write some code. And I'll ask it to write some code based on like a library. You know, I'll tell it like, hey, this library I wrote is called nymph.js. Can you write some code to use nymph.js? And give it like the README and just be like, you know, write an entity that does this. And one thing it will do is like, I'll have the API listed in the README that I give it. And it's just like, no, that's not the API. Let me just like make one up whole cloth and, you know, give you code that follows that API. And it's like, that's not what I just told you in the README was the API. Another thing is it has a tendency to just make up dependencies that don't exist. It's like, oh yeah, just use this library. Yeah. It's available on NPM. Just go ahead and install it and use it. And it's like, I'll look it up and be like, that library does not exist.
Yeah. It was like the lawyers that were using ChatGPT to write their documents for the court cases, and it just make up cases. Yep. Yeah.
That
happened recently.
The hallucination problem is a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's gotten a little bit better, but still, like you gotta be real careful what it does. So I've used it for writing some stuff, not anything for like courts or something like that. But I've really had to. It's a learning experience because there's some stuff it does really well, and there's other stuff it does really badly. What it does really well is getting a lot of stuff written quickly, right? And,
coding, I would say it is terrible at. Like, not even as good as like just a junior dev. Yeah, and I would never put like AI generated code in my own libraries because I would be two reasons. First reason is I'd be afraid that it would have like some security vulnerability that I didn't catch because who knows what its training data is written on or is what it's trained on, and who knows what sort of like vulnerabilities it doesn't know. And the second is just like copyright. You know, if I write something, if I'm putting something into my project, I need to be able to own that copyright. So if it didn't come out of my brain through my keyboard into my computer, then I can't copyright it. Yeah. You know, if it's some AI generated thing, I can't copyright that. It's not going in my project. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't had too much trouble with that, it seems. But from when I'm just like writing stuff for, writing scripts for YouTube or something like that, I find it's best to just have it, here's the information, write a basic script based on that. It should have, follow this outline or something like that, which almost defeats the purpose of doing it. But what doesn't work is having it add any kind of humor or the other thing it tries to do is kind of like, because it's writing for YouTube, and it's like I use Gemini, which is partially trained off of YouTube. I guess transcripts from YouTube videos, right? Is where you're supposed to use it. Well, it like adds on in all these things to make it sound like the person writing it or reading it is more genuine or something. I don't know how to explain it. It's not really jokes, but it's just stupid little things it adds in, and it just sounds absolutely terrible. I don't have any other way to explain
AI
it.
Voice. Like AI voice.
Yeah. Well, no, it doesn't. It is kind of like AI voice, but it's not like what you think. It doesn't sound like mechanical, but it does sound like somebody's like trying to force in some sort of little thing. It's like, so like one of the big things is it'll say like, "What's up, guys?" and then move on to whatever it's going to say. Does something like that, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I mean by AI voice. I'm not saying like it sounds mechanical. I'm just saying it sounds like inauthentic, I guess.
Yes,
is
exactly.
the way you'd put it.
Like it's trying to sound authentic, but it sounds really, really inauthentic.
Inhuman.
Yes.
Or unhuman. Non-human.
Non-human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, regarding this like search engine thing, like the fact that people are replacing search engines with AIs that can just hallucinate answers is horrifying. We already have a problem with misinformation online. Now it's going to be like a robot just makes information up. Lovely.
Yeah. Look at this lie I'm spreading on the internet. I came from here. It's like Google told me this thing that is totally not true. Great.
Yeah. Yep. How much glue should I put on my pizza?
That's right.
How many rocks should I eat per day?
That reminds me I think they were doing it with Google search and the AI, Gemini AI for Google results. You can put whatever phrase you want, like in quotes, and then afterwards type meaning, and it's supposed to like try to determine the meaning of stuff. So people have been writing like nonsense quotes and putting meaning after it, and having the AI like just come up with some meaning for this thing. Some of them are hilarious.
That sounds really fun. I kind of want to do that right now. Let me see if I can get to a screen where I could do that right now.
I don't know if I'm trying to think of the example it was. It was pretty funny. It was something like,
I'm logged in. I don't really want to do it logged in.
Yeah, it was something. The example I had was like something about it's two dry frogs is a problem or something like that. and that was the quote. Totally meaning it's not like a real meaning, but like, and the Gemini AI actually like came up with a made up meaning for it.
Okay, I got to try something. I'm just going to do, let's see. How about, I don't know, help me come up with something.
I have no idea.
Life is like drywall. The more you eat, the better it tastes. It didn't give me the AI thing. Come on. Give me the AI
Did you put it in quotes and do meaning after the end?
Yeah.
Let
me try again. Okay. Google. This is probably riveting for the people who can't even see what I'm doing. Okay. It didn't give me the AI thing. We're just going to forget it. You'll have to go to google.com and try it yourself.
Yeah.
But don't talk about eating drywall because it knows that that's not real or something. I don't know. Didn't give me the AI thing for it.
It seems to work best with like stuff that sounds like some sort of saying with that people actually use. And anyways, I don't know.
How about like let's do.
I wish I had the article that explained it. It was pretty funny. 2
blueberries are better than 1. Meaning, nope, no AI thing.
Really?
Let's try.
Or maybe they fixed it.
The louder you fall, the higher you jump. Meaning, nope, nothing.
Okay, I don't know.
Maybe they can't be like quite that nonsensical. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to.
Or maybe just my account. It doesn't like my account or something.
Maybe I'll have to look that up for the next show.
Yep. Thank you for tuning in to How the Tech Are You? We try to do this show every week, and we put it out in multiple segments on YouTube. And if you'd like to check out our other shows, you can do that at echoplexmedia.com. If you'd like to support us, you can do that at eplex.store or patreon.com/echoplex. And there should be another video for you to click on right around here. Have a great tech and week.